Hi, welcome to Art Chats con la Mitotera. I'm your host, Mel Dominguez. Thank you so much for joining us. Today I have a really special guest. She's my friend, and she's an artist, activist, and co-owner of Popcycle over on North 4th Avenue here in Tucson, Arizona. Her name is DeeDee Koenen. If you don't know her, oh my God. Her artwork is all over the place. I met her, a while ago, but it was amazing to see that she had created a space using her art and recycled objects. I had seen that before because my father and myself, we meet on those ends, and so because of that, we connected very well. And DeeDee, I'm sure somebody out there owns a piece of her art because, I mean, people buy it for themselves and as gifts. DeeDee!
Hey, Mel.
Oh my God. Hi, how are you?
Long time.
I know, I miss you. Hey, everybody out there in Instagram, this is DeeDee Koenen. She's an artist, activist, co-owner of Popcycle. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell everybody where you're from?
I was born in LA, but we moved here when I was 1, and I grew up in a ranch outside of Tucson.
Right on. I love it. I love it. DeeDee, I mean, when did you start making art and getting into art?
I think that I was always attracted to art. I have a learning disability. I'm dyslexic, so I had a really hard time in school. So art was one place where I felt like I had success. So I think I was always kind of interested in it.
Well, I love it because it's a form of communication.
Right.
And seeing your art, the things that you have produced, I love it. Because I get to see things through your eyes, through your vision. And it's been, I mean, you know me, I'm a character too. So you made the world a wonderland with your art. And I think people can feel that. How did you go from just doing art to then opening up a shop?
We were looking for a space to like DDCO had kind of grown and grown, and we made a bunch of sheds in our backyard, and we kind of outgrew them. And so we were looking for a space where we could work, we make our stuff. And that space became available. And then my sister and my partner Shannon decided that they would really like to have a retail store. So that's kind of how that happened.
Right. But this was the cool part. So one of the things that for people out there, if they're wondering, you started this business during a recession.
Yes. It was.
that in itself, it was like, bam. I mean, because we're old enough we were adults when 9/11 happened, and that was like shut down. Then the recession, like, but the items that you used were not only they were reclaimed items, but you gave another heightened effect to what we call like belonging and identity.
Yeah.
And what I mean, and so for folks out there that don't know DeeDee's artwork, it's on recycled material, right?
Yeah, mostly.
So we're very much collectors, or people have thought of us and have gifted your artwork to us. So we're like, this is amazing. But you know which one? I actually received this as a gift from the Pima County Library, and it says here, it's on a little piece of wood, little hanger, and it says, "Where dreams come true, Tucson." I know it's in reverse, but this was super powerful. What made you do this?
Made me do the Where Dreams Come True?
Well, everything you do, like, I mean, from the recycle perspective, and from like, come on, look at this, my whole screen, bro.
Well, at the time we were selling our stuff to Bohemia. Tana had Bohemia, and so we had our stuff there. And so when we were going to open a store, we definitely wanted to have it be different than what she was doing. And I had always been super interested in basically the concept of like reusing. I would say my family would probably call me a hoarder. So
me too.
I think it was like a good fit because we thought, well, we can make it different than what Tana was doing. and also, like, I don't know, I just feel like my parents were antique dealers when I was kids. And so the concept of, like, I think that things have power. I think items have power. And so when you take something that has been in other people have touched it, and then you make it into something else, I think it makes it more interesting. It's more layered. It just resonates more than if you go to the store and you buy something new. So, so I think that we've been committed to that kind of concept.
And I like it because it's something that like a lot of people, they remodel their, you know, their kitchens and their cabinet doors and their little knobs, everything goes away, but you still see a value in that, and you highlight those values, you know. So that's what I think, you see that in people too. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, but I mean, that's how I see how just the community that you have built around you know, your artwork, which is, so the artwork that I just showed everybody, that's DeeDee Koenen. But Popcycle has how many artists that are in local?
Yeah, it has over 100 local artists. And then we have a few artists from the, you know, around the country, but mostly we try to stick with, we really want to build our community. We really think that, like, by helping artists have platforms where they can show their work, we're strengthening our community, which makes Tucson a better place to be.
Well, hell, I mean, I'm all, hell yeah. The moment I met you guys, I was like, all of a sudden, you helped me get to where I am right now.
I don't know. You helped us get to where we are right now.
But I mean, it's amazing. But that's the thing that I think that we both play with, is that we're gambling, but it's not with money. It's with ourselves, and how we're trying to highlight what others do. I mean, the fact that we can all, as like how you said, gather as a community, a local artist community, lifting each other up, seeing each other's values. I think it's amazing. How long has Popcycle been open now?
It's been since 2008 we've been open.
This is amazing, because I mean, we've done all kinds of things. We've even, thank you, by the way, just really fast, just thank you and hello to everybody who's joining us. I'm glad they're joining us, because sometimes, you know what, DeeDee's back there. I often refer to you as like Santa's elves. You guys are all back there working, making gifts to everybody around the world, you know. But that's the 2008 versus 2020. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there to cover, because all of us adults out there, we have been trying to maintain a living status, you know, living wages. And as an artist, you have supported me, and as a community, we've all worked together to lift each other up, and it's been really successful. A lot of people have been exposed to even doing murals around the neighborhood. But since then, I made a small list over here. Let me put my reading glasses on really quick. No, it says activating spaces, historic 4th Avenue Coalition, the redevelopment of 4th Avenue. I mean, you guys even dealt with the streetcar. The streetcar, all of that stuff, they're beneficial because they'll bring more people through there. But each time was like a pause on your business. How did you deal with that?
Well, it's always a struggle. I mean, I would definitely say that this situation that we're going through now is like unprecedented. I think the real reality that many of us small businesses won't make it is really heartbreaking to me. I think that as a small business community, we all do better, like all ships rise. And so if we start seeing like even the pillars in the community are on the brink of tipping over, and it's really a terrifying place to be right now, I think. So I would definitely say now's the hardest, although we've hit a lot of bumps in the road. So it's taken a lot of like just trying to figure out what we can do to keep ourselves relevant for people to keep supporting local art in Tucson, how they have access to that art. You know, we're really used to just opening our doors and just letting people in, and then but this virus is an invisible monster. I mean, so it's a scary situation to be in, and we have been closed, for months because our responsibility is to our employees and our community.
Man, that's really hard to hear, because a lot of the things you've been doing since 2008 has been fire. I'm like, DeeDee has also been a participant. She adopted the park behind our home. So you're part. But that's cool, because we're all on the same thought of I felt like we were all in the same place. And we had a really nice kind of like, I mean, some people refer to it as a utopia, but that's sensitive too. I'm like, but you've also done I mean, everything you've done has been not just as an artist, but even as like leadership. I feel like a lot of people look up to you, including myself. But I'm like, there was something you did because of the development. After the streetcar, then there came development. Some people, there's another term for it, and it's gentrification, or and that's my little dog. Hey, Peanut. he's on guard dog duty. No, but now you put together. You're a part of the Historic Forest Coalition, and you had different people come in, and there's a lot of education that was involved in that, and sharing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, so basically, they were going to have a development come into the 4th Avenue area that we felt inconsistent with what we believe the avenue to represent. I mean, it's basically student housing and then with some retail at the bottom. And so when it started to happen, we were very concerned that it was changed kind of the ecosystem on the avenue, which is primarily all local. I mean, I think it's kind of a local hub in Tucson, and we've seen those kinds of neighborhoods slip away in other cities, and we definitely didn't want to see that happen here in Tucson. So we started going to city council meetings. We started learning a lot about code and learning about, zoning and just things that we as small businesses never needed to know. And so when that started happening, we started reaching out to people like Michael Peel at Local First was really helpful, and he gave us some ideas about if we couldn't stop it, which by right could build this. So, and there wasn't really any mechanism for us to stop the building, but if it was going to happen, that we could have ways of participating in that so that our voices got heard, so the voices of the neighborhoods got heard, so that we could ask for things. And one of the things that he brought up was a CBA, which is a community benefits agreement, which is where stakeholders come together, they create a coalition, they ask for things that they want, that they think will make this a better development. And you sign an agreement with the entity that's building the building, and basically it's a legally binding contract between you and the building builders and owners. So we got the first one here in Arizona. We created kind of a broad coalition of 4th Avenue businesses, Local First Arizona, and neighborhoods that are surrounding that area. So we built a diverse coalition, and we negotiated quite a bit of stuff out of it.
See, okay, so for my audience, now you know why I love DeeDee and Shannon. And like, because that's really, I mean, that's the leadership. Someone's got to, that the strength, the I don't know, being brave to go out there and be like, yo, what's up? Like, what are you doing here? Because for that North 4th Avenue, that's a culture. That's what's been there. That's what's the belonging and identity, not the gem show. Even though we benefit very much from it, it's like, that's not what it is. It's about this thing. So, all the things that you inspired me to do, to believe in myself as an artist, to build more community, you made me feel like I belong to Tucson and stuff like this. So that I went on to do my own gallery space on South 4th Avenue. And then when that started building up, it was neat to look back and see what you folks were doing so that we can have a structure, so that we could know how to apply it to the South Tucson.
Definitely.
And so I was doing a lot of those things, like listening in. Me and my partner, Melissa, we were looking in and we were inviting other stakeholders and being like, we got to listen in on this. They're already doing this model. They've already started this. So we were very closely watching to what you all were doing and participating, including with Local First Arizona. And right before the pandemic, well, before our occupation of the Oval Office announced that there was something going on, I mean, then everything was all stopped. But that's what we were going to do. We were going to take over the street. We're going to explain to people all the opportunities we have before these developers come in here and just develop away.
Right.
And now with the pandemic, not only did it stop our economic development as small businesses, but what they call a cash cow of the university, it's at a pause. Boom. We got all these tall buildings and they're empty.
Yeah, right. Right.
I don't know what to do or what to feel, but what do you think now that you did all this work and we're here? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I mean, we definitely, this was supposed to be a model. This wasn't about this one development. So it wasn't, we weren't being NIMBYs. It wasn't about like, we were only protecting our area. We worked really hard on this so that it could be a model throughout Tucson. And so when a developer's coming into any neighborhood, the stakeholders in that neighborhood come together and they have bargaining power, which the people, it's not okay. We cannot just continue to let corporate greed eat up everything and the rest of us have nothing. It won't sustain us. It's not a sustainable model. We have to have resiliency if we want to still be here in Tucson thriving. And that won't happen if we have the very poor and the underrepresented and the very rich. And that's just not a model that's sustainable. So this was supposed to be taken out into other communities where those communities came together and talked to those developers about what it is they needed to see, what they needed to have in their area. And those developers funded those things. And honestly, we actually got some mitigation funds from the developer that this one, and we've been using those mitigation funds to like do campaigns for the avenue, to do mask wearing campaigns, to pay for people's windows, to do so like that money that seed money that investor gave to the coalition, we have now been using to try to keep as many of our businesses afloat as we possibly can, and that's what it's supposed to be there for. It's for if they're coming into, they need to create betterment for the community that they're coming into.
That's just logical and smart thinking. I love it, and I love that you're an artist that says that, because there's so many people that they're over there wearing suit and ties, and they're saying, "Hey, the illness isn't real," and I'm like, wow. It's a big eye opener, and but I'm very glad that we have the opportunity to do like the internet thing, so that there's not only one speaker. We have insight. There's that's why I'm trying to interview as many of the community. How do you say, like, leaders? I think you're a leader here in Tucson, DeeDee. So I hope people that are watching that they listen to what you were just saying, because all of this is really, really important, because even though we're during a pandemic, we've been out, we've been locked in the house. And the moment we step out, there's a couple more buildings that had just gone up.
Right.
Down on 6th by the church. And then you see some more buildings being plowed down, and they're totally inching closer and closer and closer. And I know that we have to take care of ourselves, and we have to continue, and we have to endure. But a lot of this pressure, we need to step forward and either get involved or make phone calls or participate or donate, do all that we can to I mean, if you're bored, here's something you could do to take that boredom away.
Yeah, plenty of work to be done, right?
Yeah, hell yeah. You know what? You've done so much stuff, DeeDee. I mean, you supported so many different artists, so many different local artists. man, I don't even know what to say, because this is like one of those things where it's like there's no calendar date, you know, and there's no like, let's pack up and let's head out to that next gift show, or let's head out, like, let's do this. What can you tell folks out there, like, advice? Like, what are you up to? What are you doing to keep yourself busy?
Well, we still have the online store, so we're still making a little bit of stuff. We're actively working with Fourth Avenue Coalition to try and create resiliency for small businesses in Tucson. So that takes up a lot of time. And just trying to, like, now that we've created a platform, make sure that we're like expressing what we'd like to see Tucson look like from that platform, which, like, we send a letter to mayor and council about how we'd like to see the budget allocated. So I think once you create these things, I think it's important to be aware of the privilege that we have, and when we have it, we use it for the betterment of everybody in Tucson.
Yeah, right. It's like that simple. Like, why can't we do this?
Right.
I mean, there's something. I mean, it's kind of crazy because I interviewed different people, and sometimes, like, even though we talked before or I know them very well, during these interviews they say things that are very like they stay in my mind. Like to Renee say, "This is the great pause."
Yeah.
Roberto Seatley, he said all lives are sacred. And then I think about you. And I mean, there's some things, there's so many things that you say that I'm like, damn, like, it's important to think about, but what is it? There was something.
About what's happening here. I mean, I hope that we come out of this with a much better understanding of our personal responsibility to our communities and what they look like, and how we wield our privilege in a way that, because what has happened is so tired and so old, and if we don't look at it directly and address it and really do some soul searching right now, I don't know when we ever will. So I don't know if the earth is giving us a moment to get our shit together so that we can become better people, but I hope that we all hear that cry and come out on it, on the other side, better people.
Hell yes, and thank you, DeeDee, for saying it that way. Just so everybody knows, our mountains are still on fire. If that's not a signal, a smoke signal from Mother Earth saying, yeah, I give up. It's unbelievable what's going on. It's been nonstop, just boom, boom, boom. A lot of us artists are affected, that we feel like we need to do something to do an action to make people see what we see. And I just feel like sometimes it can be exhausting. What do you do to get away and kind of like rejuvenate your soul, DeeDee?
Well, I'm not very good at self-care, honestly. And when I'm stressed, I eat a lot of snacks, and that doesn't help. So, honestly, I like to get out in nature. I don't do it enough, but I think that helps me take a break and like gives my brain a pause. I'm constantly like thinking, and so I think I'm exhausting to the people around me because I'm always like, hey, I got an idea, and everybody's like, holy shit. So I think nature's always a good, like, just kind of like getting in tune with the world out there is always good for me.
Right. It's always nice to just, as sad as it seems, because I really do miss getting together and having you mix us drinks, because for those who don't know, DeeDee makes the bomb ass drinks. I don't know. They come out really good, DeeDee. But no, seriously, like going outside and doing things, and which, by the way, I don't know if Melissa has informed you, but Ward 4 has granted Popcycle Park some grant money for improvement.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, so it's really exciting, and when all that happens, you're totally invited. Just wear your mask.
Awesome. Will do.
But it's neat, because, and why I talk about the park a lot, because I say it on various interviews, but what I like about it is because it's social equity. you're giving some more of these kids connector space so that they can travel safely, walking, riding, biking, whatever they're doing between the heavy traffic streets. So thank you for that, DeeDee. It's going to be amazing. But those are the things that happen. Look at Melissa's over there chiming in. A dip in the sea in Spain was an amazing
Oh my God,
memory.
yeah. I wish we were there now, right? Oh,
Hell yeah. Well, I think that's self-care. We were
oh
like,
yeah.
let's take a break from work. Let's go to Spain.
Yeah.
And it's just magical.
It was.
The simplest things. Just taking a dip in the ocean over there with some nudity. It was great.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to do. That's what life is. Except for a lot of these guys who have campaigning, which by the way they've said a lot recently. That and I'm like, damn, that is right. That the United States is the only place that celebrates losers with the Confederate shit.
Seriously.
I'm like, get that shit out of here. They're right. And you know what? It's good. It's an interesting time. I'm glad we I'm very close to my grandfather and he's a Catholic. So listening to a lot of the biblical stuff, it's very nice to be at the end of the Bible and be able to write a new story. You know, I feel like when all this shit tumbled down and we got to rethink and restructure and be considerate of others, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? Right. I just think it's a great movement. That's why I thought that this little piece was very powerful. As much as it's weird to invite more people to Tucson, because you're like, no, it's nice.
I know. That's how I feel too. I'm like, it's not that good. It's not that great.
Right? But it is. It is. And people actually end up here because, a lot of times, like in other places, how it rains so much. There's just such beautiful weather out here. It could be intense, but there's such beautiful weather out here that people come out here for that sunshine. There's something about the natural, the sunset, the way it hits you, it gives you more that your energy changes. Yeah. It's more positive, Oh, but you know what? Here's a good one, and thank you for my wife. How can people support Popcycle? Can they walk in, or do they go on site or online?
Right now, we're just doing online, and we're doing we'll deliver for free, or you can pick up. We were doing some little walk-ups, short hours, but right now, because the numbers are so high, I think we probably will put that on a pause for a little while. I
know, isn't that wild? I wish DeeDee, we could have gotten into the plexiglass business.
Oh, seriously. Oh my God, I threw so much plexiglass away, Mel. That was so stupid.
We could have set for life.
Rich.
I could have sold toilet paper. Oh my Lord. But you know what? Us artists kind of and that's what's intense. And I feel you when you say that when you sometimes you're in this quarantine, you're in house arrest, but you're continually thinking of solutions. I was thinking, I'm like, what do we turn into now? Because now I feel like because of the pandemic, we're forced to think of how we think of space. Yeah,
for sure. For sure. I mean, I honestly, most of us live in spaces that I think most of us take for granted the amount of space we have. If you think of other places in the world and what people live in such small spaces, and we have the luxury. I mean, we have a small house, small by comparison, but I think it's always super important to hold on to gratitude about what we do have. So even though this is really hard, to be grateful that we know we're going to eat tomorrow and we have a roof over our heads. Lots of people in the world and in Tucson don't have that same luxury.
Now you know why I said DeeDee's a mentor. Look, you made me think about that again. That's real. There's people out there that they don't have as much, and they're out there right now suffering in the same circumstances. So yeah, it's very important. That's what gets to me, because I'm what's happening to all these things? There's mostly just parking lots out there. Right. They're just empty parking lots, and to rethink that space and what it looks like and how we treat it. But what I'm thinking, because I was like you, I've been thinking a lot. I really just miss being around people. Yeah. I think I think a friend of ours said that
she missed like the happy accidents, or when you run into people, and like, so I think Mel and I were talking about like that concept of like things that get created in the moment, or that's not happening right now, and that makes everything like really predictable. It makes things like kind of a little bit boring. It just it just doesn't have that like magic spark that sometimes happens when you run into somebody unexpectedly.
Right? I'm like, I've seen Melissa's face for how many days now straight now. But and she see my face too. We're just like, damn it. At least she didn't know what I was doing all day, and I came back dirty and I got to tell her a pirate story. And like, I found this big hoard of trash, and now she's like, you can't bring that all home, take that back. And I'm like, oh. But it's been hard. You know what's interesting? Did you guys get affected by this African windstorm that was coming through or something?
No, did you? I mean, when was it? I saw it coming.
I heard something. I swear, I sounded like there was horses galloping on my roof. I was like, what the hell? I went outside and it was like a small tornado. And I was like, oh shit.
4 horses.
And then my sister. I mean, why not?
Why not? I don't know. Could happen.
Why not? People are looking for the literal, but look they're looking for trumpets. It's Trump and his trumpets.
Right.
I mean, we could go there, DeeDee. But it's scary because the amount of the knowing, because we have Google, we have everything available to us, even different perspectives on theories and whatever. It's really scary because this is what we're leading to our young people. Like, there's old people who are like, fuck it, let's hang out, let's play poker and all this other shit. And then there's us middle groupers, we're like, we kind of want to live the rest of our lives without an oxygen machine. And then there's a lady that I just saw on TV. She's a nurse, but she got affected by COVID-19, and she was having a respiratory situation. She actually ended up having a stroke and lost like oxygen to her brain. She can't even move, DeeDee.
No thanks.
It's scary. So I mean, why not wear a mask? Like,
right.
Just do it for everybody, for yourself. For the longest time, I wanted to be a what do they call it? American Ninja. Here's our chance to be wearing that. Do you have a specialized mask, or did you just choose one, or do you have somebody who's making you masks?
Well, Jen made masks. We had like a very interesting, because I think that we have to think about new economies now. Like we are in a completely different situation than what has preceded us. And so in new economies, like what happens? So like people were needing masks, and we were like, and Jen, my sister, she makes Monster Booty Threads. She was making masks for like our employees and for her family and stuff. And we were like, can we ethically sell these and not feel like we're like, it's not disaster capital, that people need them, they want to get them local. Jen has to feed her family, so we had long talks between the whole group, and we talked about if we gave some away to people that couldn't afford them, and made sure that we were giving some away, and then we were also selling some. So, and that's what we settled on, and I think it was probably a good decision. We sold probably, I would say, over like 700 masks, and we've given away probably about 400 masks to all different places, like the Navajo Nation and the Tohono O'odham Reservation. And so we were able to help our community and still afford Jennifer to raise money to feed her family. So it's kind of a struggle right now to figure out, like, you have to think about things in a whole different light.
No, but I love the way you folks think. It's great leadership to kind of like I love it. So that's what I love having you as a guest, because they need to hear another voice saying that out loud. They need to see the leadership that is within our community. You've always been available to us, but now having you said that out loud on the interview, I love it. Like, because there's so much negative stuff out there. Have you listened to this one representative? She's from Massachusetts. I know this is kind of crazy. But her name's Ayanna Pressley.
Oh, I know who she is. Yeah.
She is bomb. Yeah. I'm like, why can't we think like this?
Yeah.
What's the big
Right.
deal?
Right. We do. We need leaders. We need leaders in the world that are not, that the minute they get elected, they don't lose all of their integrity. That they decide that their community, that the reason why they got to the place that they got to, and they hold on to their integrity once they get into those positions. And I think I'm sure it's a very difficult thing to do, but you know, we need that kind of leadership here in Tucson. We need we elect these people
Because Ducey, I don't like Ducey.
basically, you what? Dude, oh no.
I don't like Ducey.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
Shit. He got people sick.
He's
Those numbers are on his watch.
agreed. And that is his responsibility. Yeah.
You know, I'm starting to get all angry over here. Ah. Look, one more thing. Also, if people still, if they wanted to support Jen, how do they get a hold of Jen for the mask and whatnot?
You can get them right through Popcycle. Yeah, she can, and we have them right online, and yeah, and so you can kind of see who we've donated to. You can buy one for yourself. Yeah, can you hear our puppy?
Is that Oliver? Oh,
he's really bad.
See, those are all our little. Now they call them support animals, but they've always been support animals, you know? I love them. I love animals a lot because they don't know what we know. They know they react less than we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't look at you because, you know, you got more money or you're dressed nicer, right. or what school you went to. They're like, I love you.
They know your vibe. Yeah, you're like the Pied Piper over there with your little animals, and you're like out in the Popcycle Park.
but it's because that's the whole human experience. Oh, look, they want you to run for council, DeeDee. Come on now.
You, Mel, you first. You first. We don't need a white lady. We need some representation on there.
And Melissa's on the other side saying no, because Mel has Tourette's. Like. One of the first weeks, I was like the first week into quarantine, and I was in the passenger seat with my window down yelling, I can't take it anymore.
Seriously.
You know, I'm really losing. But so what do you do? What are you up to during this time? Are you still busting out artwork? Are you chilling out? Or
no. It's actually, I feel like I think I'm busier now than ever before, and also I feel like everything's harder than it was, and so it's exhausting. Like, even though like we're maybe only having 4 or 5 hour work days, like those 4 or 5 hours are so grueling. Like, I think emotionally, like it's just so, you know, a lot of wear and tear, and so yeah. So we're still making stuff. We're trying to keep Popcycle afloat. We're trying to support our artists that are in the store. We're trying to help our neighbors through the coalition. We're trying to speak to our city representatives about how we want to see our city, what we want to see it look like. So we've been really busy.
I know and now working from home is never leaving work.
Right, exactly.
And it's intense. We might not pay for gas anymore the way that we used to, but man, like now it's just back to back, and every day has been something new, like you said, to kind of overcome or figure out or make it worse what we're doing. But it's really good. I'm glad that everybody's chiming in. I want to say hello to our audience again. Man, if you were just tuning in, this is DeeDee Koenen. But I'm like, gosh, DeeDee, you don't even know how much I miss hanging out with you right now.
I miss you too. It's been a while.
Yeah, just because of that, the fact that there's a lot of positivity behind what you do and all that you do. And, you know, it needs to spread out, you know, and I'm just trying to like, man, the mentorship and just listening in, I feel more from you than a lot of, and I hate to say that, but the pastors that are on live on Facebook. Because it feels like they're just regurgitating old stuff that's not of today. And you're talking to us about what we can do for ourselves today to get through to the other side. Because everything that we've done as consumers, it has been about consuming.
Yes.
You know, which be the next consumer holiday, like 4th of July. They're going to sell the ballpark hot dogs, you know, like, it's going to go through that flux. And right now, I think that a lot of people, they don't know what to do. And a lot of things that they do or are doing is involving themselves with art in some sort of way to have that that expression, that visual expression, that if their Facebook isn't saying enough, or their T-shirt or something like that, they're out, they're painting. And if they're not painting and assisting painting, they're actually gifting people artwork because of that whole this is where we're from, this is who we are. Like, a lot of people, we have friends from out of the country, and they look at us like, they used to look at us like, when we had Obama, they're like, you have Obama as your president, and they were so happy and excited for us. And now they're like, are you okay?
Yeah.
I have friends in Canada, they're like, hey, let us know, we'll cross you over, there's no wall. What do you I'm like, where was my question going? Oh gosh, I'm just tripping. Have you heard anything like that? Have you heard people kind of be like, oh, the United States?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that we as a country are in a really ugly place, and I think that we're going to have to look at that straight on, and we're going to have to really kind of dig down and see where's our responsibility in this. How did we help create this? Like, what have we or have we not done that we needed to do to make our country a better place?
Right, because a lot of Tucsonans, or even Arizona people in Arizona, everybody had, as much as there's a difference in politics, people go down to Las Conchas, or they go to what do they call it, Puerto Peñasco or Quino Bay. Did you go recently? And if you did, how was it?
We did. We went for spring break with the kids. So we go every year with our extended family and all the kids. And so the kids have been going since they were like 1, I think, the boys. And so, yeah, it's very rejuvenating to be down there and be around the sea and be around the kids and stuff.
So these would kind of be the days, all the vacation days and all the holidays. These were the days that people go out, including ourselves, going out to Puerto Peñasco or even to spring break. I feel like those people are being affected too, even more heavily, because a lot of those little neighborhoods and everything were sustainable because of the tourism.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're in a super complicated place, and unfortunately we don't have real leadership to get us out of it. So I think that it's going to have to come from the ground up. I think that we are all going to have to unite with each other to build something to get us out of this, because if we're looking for someone in our government to get us out, I think that it's not going to happen.
I know, that's sad. It's kind of where we're all at right now in our thoughts. But your nephew here, Pablo Escobar 102, says, who's your favorite nephew? No pressure. Look at these guys, these people, crazies. DeeDee, if there was one big wish, what would it be?
I think my biggest wish right now, and what I've been thinking about a lot lately, is if people could collaborate more. Like, I think a lot of people are doing amazing things, and that's even happening here in Tucson. And even though I think that generally we're like a pretty good city, like I think we all kind of operate from a place of abundance, and we all like, for the majority, we support each other. You don't see a lot of competition and things like that in our city, which is beautiful. But at the same time, I still think that we could be talking to each other more and working together more. I think we would get further if we could just be a little bit more open to working together.
DeeDee, you're awesome, because that I love that. I'm down with that.
You're always down.
Collaborating and talking more. Well, hell yeah. That's what it's all about. That's why I get in conflict with the whole even though I want to go to outer space, I'm in conflict with, why are we going? There's nobody there. Like, the best company is here on Earth. And that's what's so affecting me right now during the quarantine, is the togetherness.
You're a people person. I bet you really miss like being at the gallery and talking to people about your work. And I'm sure it's especially hard for you because I think that you get energy from people, and you understand them, you want to hear their story, and it inspires you. So I feel for you right now, for sure.
Yeah, it's like watering a flower,
Right.
conversation.
Right. Right.
But DeeDee, I want to thank you so much for even giving us some time out here, talking to us and sharing with us. I hope all our listeners that they got a little bit more knowledge about what DeeDee Co is and who you are and what you're up to, and just what I've been affected by being your friend. The mentorship, the leadership, you're like a big sister to everybody, man. Like
I
but that's
admire
why I miss you.
everything that you and Melissa have done. You've done so much, and it's been a pleasure to know you both. And whenever anything ever comes up or there's injustice in the world, I know that I can always call you guys, and you guys are always right there to participate in any way possible. And seeing what you've done with the gallery and how you've given space to people that don't usually get that platform, and that's really powerful, and that can change people's lives. And I really appreciate what you and Melissa both do.
Man, thank you, DeeDee. Thank you, DeeDee. And it was all right back at you. It was inspired by what you've done. It's that leadership. It's infectious, and that was our intention. That's one of the kind of pandemics that should be infectious.
Right.
It's consideration and collaboration, like and love. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let you go with this, and thank you so much for all the time that you've given us and the leadership. Say hello to your family, Shannon, little Oliver out there, and folks, check out Popcycle, check out DeeDee Co, check out Monster Booty. They have over 100 artists over at Popcycle, and it's just super amazing, and it's really, you can share the joy with others, and for real, this is not just the thing, but literally, that's why people gift your art, is because we could feel the energy behind it. So thank you, DeeDee.
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you.
All right, love to you both.
I'll see you soon, and hopefully over drinks.
Yes.
Right? Happy hour.
Yeah, right.
Love you, man.
Love you too, Mel. Nice to see you.